I feel like there's an urgency on my life because they say the life expectancy of a sickle cell patient is 45, maybe 50 years old. God has given me this duty, this calling to be his mouthpiece and not just a pretty face on a sickle cell poster board. Even days that my body aches to no end, I remember the stories from other people who have sickle cell disease just like me, going into bankruptcy, debtor's court, losing their jobs, using up their 401k they once had when they could work, pawning belongings to make ends meet, driving themselves to the emergency room because this disease is just too much for their own family to support and be there for and with them. I hear the voices and I hear the stories, so yes, I take up the torch of light, like the torch from the Olympics being passed on, so this disease will not remain some dark curse that many sickle cell patients think it is. I take up all those who can't walk today. I take up the torch for all those who could not even move out of bed today. I take up the torch for those who could not dress or bathe themselves on their own today. I take up the torch for those who are experiencing bone deterioration because of sickle cell disease. I take up the torch for those who are allowing this disease to send them into a depression. I take up the torch for those who had to choose between paying a utility bill or getting medication. I take up the torch for those who had their things set out because of this disease. I take up the torch for those who had their cars repoed because they could no longer work to pay the car note. I take up the torch for those who cry themselves to sleep every night. I take up the torch for those who go to the emergency room and are denied medication because on the outward appearance it seems to be wrong, but on the inside all hell is breaking loose and the doctors think you are just there to get a high. I take up the torch for those who can't even remember how many blood transfusions they've had. I take up the torch for those who lay in bed every morning until the pain medicine kicks in enough to put their feet on the floor. Yes, I take up the torch for those who need to be educated. I take up the torch to let whoever is clueless about this disease that plagues over 100,000 people, mostly African Americans in this country. I will even take up the torch to reveal the imbalance between different diseases where certain races with far less people affected by other diseases get all kind of funding and support and education. So yes, I stand here with this torch in my hand and I will carry it, light up the way. The road is narrow, even when my body seems to be failing me, even when there is only God with me, until I can carry this torch no more.